Once you install Unreal, you'll have the dashboard here. So go ahead and click Launch Unreal, and that'll launch our Unreal project browser. What we want to do is do a C++, just a basic code project. And then here, I'm going to name it PacManz with a Z. That's going to be our PacManz project. It's going to be our first foray into thinking about game design and using Unreal with C++ code and Blueprint. So I'm going to go ahead and create project. So after it's done compiling your code and all that good stuff, you begin with this basic scene. Let's talk a little bit about navigation. If you roll your wheel in and out, this is the mouse wheel, you'll zoom in. You can also hold the Alt key and click your right mouse button. That'll also zoom out. If you're holding Alt and you left click, you can see you can do this incremental pan. If you have an object selected and you hold Alt and left key, it still does it, but if you hit F, we can focus and rotate around a specific object. If you'd like to pan the camera that we're viewing, you hold Alt and click in that middle wheel and you can pan left and right, up and down. So for our Pac-Man game, we don't need this furniture or any of this other stuff, so we're just going to do File, New Level, and we're just going to select the default level here. So outside of our starter content folder, I'm going to hold Control and scroll my wheel in so you can see this a little better. I'm going to right click and just create a new folder and call it Materials. And what we're going to do is create a bunch of materials that represent our ghost. So I'm going to right click, create a new material here. I'm going to name this Pac-Man _M, hit enter. And then I'm just going to hit Control W and duplicate this about 4 times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it one more time. So let's double click our material here. What I want is my Pac-Man to be a yellow color. So I'm going to drag off a base color here. I'm going to go down to coordinates and, constants. I'm going to make a vector 3. Now the vector 3, usually when you're thinking about it in programming terms, it's the X, Y, and Z. In this particular case, it's the RGB, or red, green, and blue. So when I double click it, you'll see there's 3 vectors here, are red, green, and blue. I'm going to drag this down to the corner and go all the way up to my yellow. Hit OK. In order to make it look like this here, I have to hit Apply and Save. Now I'm going to go ahead and pause the video to save you time. So see how it updates. And I'm going to make a red, I'm going to make a blue, which indicates hurting, a red and a green, and a pink, and an orange. So let's go ahead and I'll pause the video. If you want to rename, you can right click rename. And then I can do blue _M. And we can say like ghost scared, because in Pac-Man that's what happens. Your ghost gets scared and they turn blue. Double click it. Same deal. Coordinates. And I'll pause it in a second. I'm leaving this open because there's a constants rather, vector 3. There's another step that I want to get in here. So let's go all the way blue here. Hit OK. Just apply and save that. And there's one other thing. We want to change the opacity so our ghosts are more transparent. So if you expand this, if you click here and you expand this down, you'll notice that blend mode is opaque. We want to do translucent. And then off of our opacity, we want to drag this out. And I'm just going to select a, let's see, is it depth? Oh, it's blends rather, sorry, blends. I'm sorry, it is constants rather, or it's a constant, same thing as we were before, but it's a single value. So you can see here it's at 0, so it's completely transparent. If I move it to the right, and then I release it, you can see it starts to come back in. So let's do 0.25. So it's 25%. Let's hit apply and save that. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And you can see it's transparent. If I grab like a basic object and you want to see how any of this stuff works, or how the transparency will look in the, sorry, let's not do a basic object. Let's do a geometry, or a box or something. Oh wait, these are box brushes. No, we definitely want basic. Let's do sphere. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Bring this up, zoom out. You can just kind of like use this as your test bed and either drag it in here or just drag it on the object itself, and you can see it's transparent. Okay, I'm going to delete that sphere and pause the video and make the other colors. Alright, you can see here in my materials folder that I have these orange, pink, red, transparent blue, and a yellow Pac-Man sphere.